inbound. Friendly UAV overhead. Be advised, friendly precision airstrike inbound. We're crushing them, stay with us. Good work.
FISA and the FISA court. Take a listen to Lindsey Graham yesterday on that issue.
We're going to look long and hard at FISA abuse. We're going to pass laws to make sure this never happens again. Accountability will only be successful if somebody gets fired, and I'm looking at Christopher Wray to fire somebody at the FBI, and somebody needs to go to jail, and I'm looking at Durham to hold people criminally accountable for the laws they broke.
What do you think of what's going to happen to FISA, and do you think it's still a necessary tool for law enforcement?
I do think it's a necessary tool. I think the policies are only as good as the people implementing them. So what was it, 2018, that some House Republicans wrote the FISA court, and we also raised issues with the process. And, you know, the D.C. media said, isn't that cute? These crazy little House Republicans have a problem with FISA. Remember, Donald Trump, on the morning we were going to vote to reauthorize the surveillance program, sent out a very negative tweet, which required Pompeo to run to the White House and try to fix it. So the Republicans are already skittish about these surveillance programs. If the court and the media and the Democrats do not take Horowitz's report seriously, I mean, Lindsey Graham may be the most hawkish member of the Senate when it comes to national security. If he's troubled by it, then imagine where Rand Paul and some of the other Republicans are.
Before we let you go, let's get your thoughts about John Durham. So he's the U.S. attorney who is tasked with the overall report of how this whole Russia investigation began in the first place. So he doesn't just look at DOJ, he also looks across the board.
Joining us now with more is Minority Whip Steve Scalise and House Freedom Caucus Chairman Andy Biggs. Gentlemen, thanks so much for joining us. Congressman Scalise, this is kind of bizarre. You know, Chuck Schumer's press conference about how they wanted more evidence. Aren't they kind of de facto admitting that they impeached the president without evidence? Am I reading this wrong? He needs more witnesses, but they already took a vote saying, oh, they had enough evidence to impeach. This seems kind of backwards.
Yeah, we said this all along. There literally was no crime. The president committed no crime. It was an impeachment in search of a crime, and they never found one. All of their own witnesses, their star witnesses, all said that there was no crime, there was no bribery. And now you've got Pelosi really carrying out her own quid pro quo. She's trying to say, I won't give you the papers unless you do this. Isn't that what they were accusing President Trump of? Look, Joe Biden did the quid pro quo that he bragged about. You know, hey, I'll take the $1 billion of taxpayer money if you don't fire the prosecutor. Pelosi's doing a quid pro quo. President Trump's the only one who didn't do one, and they impeached him for it. This is bizarre. And look, there is no case. It's time for her to give this up, stop the witch hunt, and finally start working for the American people. We could be lowering drug prices. We could have a secure border and do so many other things, but they are the party of impeachment. This is all they have.
You know, Congressman, before I go to Congressman Biggs, just following up on that, Congressman Scalise, you know, it's fascinating because they allege the quid pro quo with the president that their only firsthand witness said never happened, Gordon Sondland, and yet the president is the chief executive of the country, was obviously concerned about corruption and foreign aid. He said that many times. And yet now we have Nancy Pelosi with an unconstitutional usurpation of the Senate powers. And where's the media on this? No one's celebrating how wonderful Nancy Pelosi is.
Team deathmatch. Enemy threats in the AO. Weapons hot.
Enemy at the night car.
Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the cargo container.
Map is like tiny for how many Vegas there are. Oh. Damn.
Friendly UAV overhead.
Enemy at the office.
Friendly UAV overhead.
Oh shit. Scared the fuck out of me.
Enemy personal radar in the air.
Enemy
Friendly missile on station for overwatch.
Enemy people.
Care package arriving on station.
Oh, got taken down.
enemy at the train track.
Those years. Suck. Come on, more niggas spawn right there. Oh, scared the fuck out of me.
Friendly UAV overhead.
Shoot. Oh,
Enemy precision airstrike. Take cover.
niggas be spawning behind me and shit, G. The nice thing about taking a break and playing Modern Warfare is it's not like really competitive. Like if I could die, I'm just like whatever.
Friendly.
Spawn behind some sideways shit.
Available. On your mark.
Oh my god, this fucking faggot, dude. Kid on top of the leaderboard is so fucking annoying.
Net 2-2 on approach to drop.
Be advised, friendly precision airstrike is down.
This is Striker 3-1, good cover. Thank you.
Dude, what the fuck? This nigga's about to get like some nasty ass kill streak. Killed me like 4 times in a row.
Striker 3-1, good cover. Thank you.
Friendly UAV.
No hits on that run.
Enemy at the line first.
Enemy
That nigga, you just killed that so many kills in a row. Really? Yeah, like hell. What the fuck that? Oh, never mind. They have a chopper gunner? Yep, there's that nigga. Told your ass, boy.
Enemy at the train track.
Hell it kills, bro.
Am I reading this wrong?
You're spot on. And look, when the
God
media was
damn, my
kept
team
out
fucking
of the room
sucks.
by